So I was pretty used to that. I saw Amazon fall 95%. Seen lots of volatility. I saw it fall 80% many
Wow.
times.
Wow, that's crazy.
I,
Because
you know, and I think the best investment ideas in the last 30 years,
hmm
they're dominant digital monopolies that everybody needs, nobody can stop,
hmm
and very few people understand. I remember when I was at MIT, one of
hmm
the fraternity brothers, he graduated and got a job, and he came back and he parked a Porsche
Oh, wow.
in the driveway of our fraternity house. And I looked down at the car and I thought, oh, it would take like 10 years of hard work and savings, and I still might not be able to afford that car. I thought, if I could ever afford a car like that, then I will have made it.
Wow. So
That's what I
Michael
remember.
Saylor was once a shrimp.
Yeah, and then I graduated, got a job, and I bought a used car, and I drove that to the fraternity house, and I thought I had arrived. I first started investing. I got very interested in technology companies, so I invested in Amazon and Apple and Facebook and Google and some of the internet companies. And
hmm
I suppose I got interested in them after my company came public. I was always a big tech enthusiast.
Yeah, tell me more about your investment in those big tech companies like Amazon and Google. When's this?
Um, I, from the point that I had money to invest, which is after my company came public in
Mm.
'98, I had investments in tech companies, but I got to be pretty heavily invested
hmm
around between 2008 and 2010.
Wow. Wow.
When I wrote The Mobile Wave, I saw that the world was going to transform into companies with 1 billion customers like
hmm
Amazon and
Wow.
Facebook and Google and Apple. And I thought, if you can have a digital network with 1 billion customers and you can ship a product or a service down that network via electricity,
hmm
then that's an unstoppable competitive advantage.
Right.
So I concluded, Amazon was going to defeat the 10,000 smallest retailers
hmm
because they had one storefront and they could upgrade their storefront instantly every minute of the day.
hmm
And that's impossible for a physical bricks and mortar store to compete with.
Right. Right.
And the same is true with Apple, where if you have a device in 1 billion people's hands and you can
hmm
ship a product to it over the weekend, nobody
hmm
can compete with that. No one else can ship a product to 1 billion
hmm
people over the weekend for a nickel. And
Right.
so those are pretty unstoppable franchises
I
at
see.
that point.
So, from investment point of view, I remember Amazon will drop like over 90% in 2005. But since you started investing, what was the biggest drop that like Amazon or
Oh,
Apple
I
had?
saw Amazon fall 95%, more than 95%.
Right.
So I was pretty used to that. I saw Amazon fall 95%. Seen lots of volatility. I saw it fall 80% many
Wow.
times.
Wow, that's crazy.
I,
Because
you know, and I think the best investment ideas in the last 30 years,
hmm
they're dominant digital monopolies that everybody needs, nobody can stop,
hmm
and very few people.
right.
And Amazon was like that.
hmm
Apple is like that.
Right.
Google is like that. Facebook is kind of like that. And Bitcoin is like that.
Yes.
They
Yes.
all have the same characteristic. Few people understand it. When few people understand it, but everybody needs it and no one can stop it, that's when to invest.
Right.
You could say today
hmm
that everybody kind of understands that they need Apple and Google and Facebook
Right.
and YouTube and Amazon. They understand it today.
hmm
And so those aren't so good investments anymore, because once a few 100 million people agree with you,
Uh-huh.
you're not early. So people disagreed on Apple and Amazon a decade ago, and they were good investments, and they went up by a
Right.
factor of 20 from there.
Wow.
And people disagree on Bitcoin today, which is why it's a good investment.
Right. Right.
Because if all of the issues were worked out, then it would already be 30, 40, 50 times more expensive.
Wow.
And it wouldn't be controversial, but you would lose 97% of your wealth.
Uh-huh.
Because if you wait till it's $1 million a coin, then you're going to have to pay 20 times as much money to buy it. So you're going to be 5% as rich
Wow.
as you would otherwise be. So you have to decide, right? Do you want to run with the crowd and buy something that's conventional, that everybody agrees with you on, that's not controversial? Or do you want to invest in something which most people disagree with you on, but is unstoppable?
Right. So do you see bigger opportunities with Bitcoin than the big tech stocks?
Yeah, because I think that Bitcoin it represents the digital transformation of property and money and energy.
Right.
Whereas Google represented the digital transformation of information.
Right.
That they were all about digital music, digital maps, digital communications, digital messages, digital stores. But at the end of the day, digital energy and digital money and digital property is a lot more valuable.
Right.
You're talking about the digital energy, digital money transformation is worth half of everything the human race is. Like we have this joke, we say Bitcoin fixes everything, but Bitcoin doesn't fix everything in the human race, but it fixes half of everything in the human race. Because money is the backhaul energy network that we use to run the economy. So if you take the value of all goods and services and property in the economy, and then you trade it, the opposite side of the trade is the money.
Right.
So if you digitally transform the money, if you had money that was immortal and indestructible and unconfiscatable, and if it was programmable,
right,
and if you could instantly transfer it to anyone, anywhere,
wow,
that's so much better than anything we've had in the history of the human race. Right. That what's it worth? It's worth $500 trillion. Okay, so what's Bitcoin worth today? It's worth one.
Right.
Less than one, right? So Apple and Amazon and Facebook and Google, they're not going to be worth $500 trillion. I mean, maybe you can find a way for the company to be worth 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 trillion. But the value of digital money and digital property, right? What's property? I mean, $250 trillion worth of real estate.
Right.
So the value of those things is much higher. The question really is, are you investing or are you saving or are you speculating?
Right.
If you're a saver, you're not really investing or taking a risk on a company. You're converting a weak property to a strong property.
Right.
If you're an investor, you have to have at least a 4-year time horizon.
4 years.
Okay. If you're investing in something thinking you'll make money in 4 weeks, you're not really an investor, you're a speculator. Now, if you don't know what you're doing and you're guessing, you're just guessing, you're just betting on black or red, I call that speculation.
Okay.
If you have a methodology, if you have computer programs and you have proprietary algorithms and you have special information that no one else has, you can call yourself a trader, understand?